Hi, this is Martin from Coldwood again. Today we're going to show you a level called Off the Rails. This is from about halfway through the game, and it's a level about departure, about taking off and exploring boundaries and trying new things. We won't show you the whole level because it is a puzzle game after all, and we don't want to give too much away. So you'll be seeing some highlights, basically. YARNY is on a quest to mend a broken bond. And on that quest, on that journey, you'll come across these memories. And you can collect them and bring them along with you. Because that's basically what you're doing. You're trying to tie someone's loose ends up and trying to bring all their missing pieces back together. The levels are a mix of puzzles and platforming, and also these moments that are just about reflection and about beauty, really. A chance to just take in a lovely environment and to go explore. But here we come across the first puzzle of the level. The challenge is to get across this broken bridge. The gap is too wide to jump. By using your yarn creatively, you can get across anyway. The thing is, you have really good reach. You can throw the front end of your yarn like a lasso and use that to get across. This level doesn't always follow the standard platform pattern of going left to right. It starts out like that, but then we shift things around. You'll get to do lots of climbing to open up new horizons and to face new hazards. Part of this level takes place by an old sawmill. It's inspired by a real place, not too far from our office. And it is actually one of the first places where we went to shoot reference photos for the game. It's one of those places where you hardly have to change a thing to make it look like a game level. There's tons of cool wooden structures and old machinery, and saw blades and all kinds of craziness. I took a picture of YARNY climbing on a water wheel, and I knew right away that I wanted that to be part of a level. It's a great story moment, one that we won't spoil now, but I'll still mention it because I think that's such a good way to design levels, to find these things that can easily be understood and retold, and let that experience become the story. There are basically two types of stories in Unravel. There's the story of the past, which is told through memories and through little glimpses and visions of people and events from the past, and through things you can find and items you can collect. Then there's the present day story. It's the one you craft yourself, through YARNY and your actions, by helping guide YARNY through the game. I like to say that it's not a story that you follow, but it's a story that you lead. And this story is driven by moments, the moments that you create and the moments that you experience. Like I said, this is a level at around halfway through the game, so things do start to get a bit more difficult here. But they're actually not as difficult as they look, or maybe they are, depending on how you tackle the problem. We love switching the pace up, we love contrasting gameplay, but even though a section like this might not look like it, it's still actually a puzzle in many ways. We try to balance the levels as well, so we get a good mix of gameplay, puzzle parts, or really tricky puzzle parts, or parts that more resemble traditional platforming, leaping and jumping, and also some parts that are purely about story, about reflection, and about beauty. We've had such a good time crafting this world, so sometimes we just have to let the puzzles and problems take a step back and give the environment a chance to just shine. And Off the Rails has quite a few of those moments. Moments of pure peace and beauty. This looks like a wood you could get lost in. You could just wander around for hours in those blueberry bushes and lose yourself in all the things that there is to see. My design philosophy is that the thing you do the most in a game must also be a thing that feels really good to do. In a game like this, it's all about traversal, about getting from one point to the next. So movement, basic movement, has to feel great. And I find Unravel extremely satisfying to play. It's actually at its best when you're up in the air, swinging on the yarn. You can move with such grace and fluidity, and the controls are quite forgiving, so you can pretty easily pull off daring stunts. You can jump with lots of hang time and use your lasso to hook onto something at the last moment. Or you could use the fact that you always have yarn trailing behind you and tie onto things to make safety lines. Both ways to play are great. The second big piece that we designed for this level was the big rail bridge at the end. It's another level part that's actually inspired by real-world things, by real events and places. And it was a piece that felt like pretty much a given. I mean, it has a great view and a great story hook, and it's so full of symbolism. I mean, it is a literal bridge to the world outside, so, I mean, for a game about symbols, you couldn't ask for something better than that. And there's also tons of cool stunts to do, where you can use your yarn acrobatic skills to the fullest. The first time I saw love locks on a bridge was actually at Gamescom in Cologne a couple of years ago. It's another one of those images that just stuck in my head. So when I was writing this and putting all the pieces together, those locks had to be part of it. I just found them really, really charming. And I guess that's really how I design things. It's not always about creating something out of nothing. It's more like you're trying to take the sum of all that you've seen and learned and experienced, and you're trying to turn that into something new and something beautiful.